The minute I checked into the hotel on my recent trip to Sacramento, I immediately wanted to venture out in the beautiful golden hour evening and check out the rail scene. And it didn't take long to catch my first train, an Amtrak Capitol Corridor service crossing under the multi-purpose I Street Bridge which carries I Street over the Union Pacific Martinez sub. It is pulling in very gently into the Sacramento Valley Station. And I caught another instance of this train 2 days later here in West Sacramento at 3rd Street. This part of Sacramento is undergoing a little bit of development, and there is a nice, relatively new burger and brew place located right next to the tracks. I highly recommend it. Anyhow, this train is pulling into the Southern Pacific Sacramento Valley Station. SP had a dominating freight and passenger presence here since the early days, but now it is all but the domain of the Union Pacific Martinez sub. Going west, you'll wind up in Oakland, California, and in the San Francisco Bay Area. Going east, as you head towards the Rocky Mountains, the line splits, with one side going through Moffett towards Denver and the other going towards Wyoming and the Transcontinental Railroad. This appears to be one of the trains that go on the Wyoming side, presumably one of those global trains I hear about. The 3x2 locomotive and DP consist and the long string of auto racks on the bottom of a long cut of intermodal give this train some sort of a PSR vibe. Not sure if before UP adopted some of these measures if these were two separate trains, but who knows. As busy as the Martinez sub may appear to be, and I had missed plenty of trains prior and after this catch on this line, it is not the only line through town by a long shot. In fact, the Union Pacific forms a triangle, and this is one of the other sides of the triangle, the Western Pacific Sacramento sub. I had grabbed dinner at a Chipotle near downtown Sacramento and the Midtown district, and didn't realize that I would kind of fall in love with the rail line it was adjacent to. The Sacramento sub funnels traffic from north to south, with this train, a Union Pacific grain train, heading south towards the Stockton area. Not sure on its final destination nor where it really originated, but I'm assuming it came from the breadbasket area. What was cool about this train was a lot of fallen flag and old UP We Will Deliver grain hoppers scattered throughout the consist. There must have been some kind of slow order through town because every southbound train did this when it went by me. Northbounds also did this before approaching me. BNSF also exercises trackage rights on the UP Sacramento sub. They run a couple of manifest pairs. I'm not quite sure if they run any other trains on this line, but this is one such instance, presumably from Barstow, California to Pasco, Washington. This stretch of the UP Sacramento sub feels every bit like South Florida. Aside from the Western Pacific train station repurposed as a spaghetti restaurant, it exudes a lot of Wynwood and South Florida with the palm trees and the murals on the walls. Not to mention the numerous restaurants and bars scattered throughout the Midtown district. Both lines already have a pretty decent variety of trains that run through Sacramento. This is the ZLCTM, Los Angeles Terminal C to Tacoma, Washington. YouTuber Adam Ghimenti was also at the grade crossing on the west side of the train when this passed. Great to see another rail fan out here while rail fanning new territory. 10-minute walk from the conference venue to this crossing here is well worth the while, especially considering the many food options available. The Tank House barbecue joint is one such option, and my friends and I definitely took advantage of these places when we were in town. Of course, these dinner runs do not come back empty-handed. Trains definitely dominate through here, especially during the evening hours. At least that has been the pattern as of this day. Pacific Northwest is most certainly known for its lumber production, so that is most likely where these empty center beam flats are headed for a potential refill. So the only line missing is the Fresno sub, which does not appear to be the most scenic nor catchable line, especially as far as this conference trip is concerned. But one late afternoon, we made a run out towards Roseville and presumably caught a train that came from the Fresno sub. This cool locomotive consist is fronted by two EMD SD59MX rebuilds, low emissions, California based. Actually, one did sneak out to South Florida and I caught it with my buddy Joseph, who happened to be along in this trip. That's his brother Robert driving the rental car as he takes us to Roseville to check out the town. Roseville is home to the huge, monstrous Union Pacific hump yard, an Amtrak station, and an interesting, quaint downtown area. There's a historic side and a more Art Deco-y side on the east side of the tracks, but we stuck to the west side anyway. The Roseville Amtrak station is served by the Capitol Corridor trains and also trains 5 and 6. A neat little platform, and also there is a webcam mounted, and that has been a nice and very useful reference point for a lot of the catches during this trip. Of course, I had never seen this many Union Pacific locomotives in one frame at all in my entire life. And what really blew me away was the out-of-frame deadline of stored EMD SD60 and SD90 Mac locomotives. The Y just east of the train yard is used very frequently to spin power moves as well as short local consists, just like the one shown here. The grain train meanwhile is exiting the yard on the double main, proceeding for points east. The historic old town is definitely worth a visit, and there's a very nice coffee shop with free Wi-Fi, charging stations for your smartphones, and close proximity to the railroad tracks. This train very likely is coming from the Pacific Northwest, as the intuitive routing would put it through Yuba City, where it connects with the Sacramento sub for points north. So this catch of potentially another bar-style to Pasco, Washington BNSF manifest train on the Sacramento sub will wrap up the package of trains I was fortunate enough to get on for the conference. That conference was a smashing success, a particle smashing success of course, and all of the stuff that we were able to enjoy in town and in the surrounding areas was as well. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this package and this little taste of what's to come in future years when I hopefully explore more of California. Now we're going to look at Sacramento and Oakland maybe, but also Los Angeles, Barstow, San Bernardino, everywhere. The list is endless. Hope you have enjoyed. If you haven't, please leave a like, comment, and perhaps subscribe to this channel. Thanks again, and from J Street in Sacramento, California, aka West Wynwood, this is TE out.
Bye, Daddy.